Good morning and welcome to my channel. I am going to do a hat project today. So up at our Longhorn farm, we are doing our third annual dove hunt. And every year we create, well, I say we, my husband and I combined kind of help create a logo, and then I make it happen with some leatherette, some hats, and the good old X tool. So here I've got some new hats that we ordered. I've never used these before, but I'm really excited about them. I think they look awesome. So we're gonna take these hats, and I just got some new leatherettes in today from Hide Bond, and these are the two different colors. And I'm thinking, because of this brown, I'm thinking that I'm gonna cut out our hat patches with this leatherette. So stay tuned and we're gonna get these hat patches done. So I've got my X Tool P2. It is on and ready to go. I've already cleaned out my lenses and my mirrors to make sure everything is good and ready to go. I have also installed my honeycomb for my laser. I do have my door underneath here, or the but the laser bed, so it's installed. Everything is ready to go. The other thing I'm going to be using, I can reach, I ordered these little magnets from Amazon, and they are awesome for using on the leatherette, and obviously they stick very well. They're to the honeycomb. So I'm going to get set up an X tool on our XCS program and follow along as we go through this process. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, before I forget, I'm going to go up here to the processing mode, and I'm going to click on my honeycomb panel. That way I've got that selected. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and upload my image. So I'm going to go up here to image, and I'm going to go to my files, and this is our third annual dove hunt logo. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hide the background where I can see this, and if I click on my image, it's showing as multiple objects are selected. So what I want to do is I want to go up here and make it a compound vector. Now we have one image. Okay, so this is my third annual Cold Mountain Cattle Co. Look, I'm just going to play with it bigger for right now, just where I can show you easier on the screen. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create an offset, and what that offset is going to do is going to be the shape of the hat patch that I want. And I'm just going to do a circle, keep it simple. But what I want to do is, it's got the external, which is what I want. The corner style, I do want the rounded, but I only want the outer shapes only. That way it's going to ignore the inside, because I don't want that. I am going to change my offset distance just a little bit to where it's a little bit bigger offset. I want the inside of my patch, I think that looks pretty good. It's going to be engraved. All right, so I'm going to click confirm because I like that. Okay, so now I've got two different parameters that I need to figure out. So I'm going to go to my logo here. I'm going to select this, and it is on engrave, and that's what I want. I'm going to go up here to my saved settings, and I'm going to keep my power around 25%. I'm going to keep my speed at 420 millimeters per second. I'm going to do one pass. And my lines per centimeter, I think I'm actually going to change this to about 140. I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go up here and modify my cut. So I'm going to click that. I do not want it on score, I want it to cut. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to go to my settings, and for power, I'm going to put it at 33%. Actually, I'm going to bump that up to about 35%. Speed, I'm going to keep around 10, one pass, and just roll with that. the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both, and I'm going to create a group. So now all I need to do is I'm going to now go over, we're going to look at how big we want our hat patch on our hats, and then we'll come back and tell the laser what to do. I've got my leatherette loaded into my honeycomb. I've also gone and had him put my magnets on the leatherette just to keep it held down tightly against the honeycomb. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay, so I've got my leatherette set down on my honeycomb and secured with my magnets. What I need to do now is I need to go back in XCS and tell my laser engraver exactly what to do. I have measured my hat and I decided that I want to do a 2.5 by 2.5. So what I'm going to do here is, now you should see my screen again. So I'm going to click here, and I've told it that I want it to be 2.5, and it's automatically changed it to 2.505. I have gone in with my image and I've zoomed in using the close shot, and I've gotten as close as I can to my magnets. One mistake I did the first time when filming this was I did not take into account the height of my magnet. So I'm re-recording this so I can show you exactly what I almost made a very bad mistake doing. So I'm going to back out a little bit, and I'm going to go back to my close shot, and I'm going to zoom in on my magnets. I have learned this the hard way, so hopefully I can save you the mistake of doing it as well. So needing to take into account the little height of the magnets and not just the height of the leatherette. So I'm going to do an auto measure, and notice on my screen that when I took the distance between the leatherette and the laser head, it put it at 0.902 inches. So now I'm going to do an aimed measure on top of the magnet. So we're going to count for this as well. So now we have changed the distance to 0.787, and I just saved myself ruining my leatherette. So now that that's in, I've got my image ready. I've already got my cut settings, my engraved settings. Now we are actually ready to go. So I'm going to click process, and it tells me our estimated time is 5 minutes and 58 seconds. Everything looks good to go. So now I'm going to hit start on my screen, and all that's left is to hit start on my laser engraver, and I will show you how the magic happens. Okay, so it just got finished cutting and engraving, and I think it looks really, really nice. Obviously, we've got some cleaning to do, so let's go get this hat patch cleaned up, and I'll show you what to do. So here we go. I am getting ready to clean up my patches. I use the LA Awesome, which you can find in Dollar General or Walmart. I've also put some in this spray bottle here just to make it easy. And I also use a cheap, soft, bristled toothbrush for doing this. I'm going to take a little bit of LA Awesome, spray it directly on my patch. Then I'm going to take my toothbrush and just very slowly get in there and clean all the soot. I'm not really scrubbing very hard. I'm just scrubbing very lightly. And I'm going to do this to both of them. In between, I am actually rinsing off my toothbrush in the sink. Get a little fresh water on there where it's not just constantly moving the dirt and the soot around. So once I've got these sprayed and scrubbed, I'm going to just take a paper towel and I'm just going to kind of blot all of the soot off of it. It doesn't really leave it with a wet finish or anything. And lastly, I'm going to take a microfiber towel and just kind of wipe everything off one last time, just where it's got a nice, clean, smooth finish. And there we have it. I've got my temperature set on 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got 40 seconds on and everything is preheated and ready to go. I only have a top heat platen and the bottom is not, so I can get away with putting a cloth in here, and I'll show you in a minute why I do that. Mine, I have to get something in here to kind of fill the gap between the hat here and the platen, so that way I get a nice, good, crease-free press. I've already taken the backing out of the hat, and I've just kind of opened up the hat like this, the sweatband. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift this up, slide this in here, and I'm going to get this settled first. And then I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to make sure, oops, that this gets in here, because what this does is this is going to keep the hat pulled tight while I'm pressing. So I've got that on there, I think pretty good. I'm going to release that, and it's got nice, tight, firm pressure on my hat. So now I've got a nice, seamless finish right here. So the next step is I'm going to put this here, okay? And this is this little thin silicone sheet. It's just going to protect my hat. It's going to protect this. So I'm just going to kind of check and make sure everything looks good, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it down, and I'm going to let it preheat my hat. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing here. And because I only have a top heat platen, I need to find a way to activate the adhesive on the back. And a trick that I've learned is my heat gun. So I'm going to heat this up till the back becomes tacky, and then that way it'll be ready to line up on my hat. So this is getting ready to beep. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lift now that my hat is preheated. And I'm going to go ahead and take my trusty heat gun right here, and I'm just going to put this down here and heat it up. All right, so I'm going to take the silicone mat off. I'm going to take my patch, and I'm going to get it lined up exactly where I want it. And I'm also just going to take my fingers and just kind of mush it down just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take my silicone mat, lay it down on there, and I'm going to pull everything tight, and I'm going to get everything pressed for a good 40 seconds. Great. So I'm going to release this back, and what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and show it to you. Look at that. I think it just absolutely looks fabulous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sit it down and allow this to cool off.